When I was 2.5 years old, my brothers and I were placed in the South Korean welfare system by my single father, who was injured and could no longer work. Some of you already know that my father placed a large tattoo on our arms, a marker that would miraculously reunite my brothers and me 42 years later. Today, I want to give you a deeper view of what it was like to be separated from my brothers and placed in a separate orphanage for adoption. At first, I may not have realized what was happening because my adoption records say that I actively joined the children in games and laughed loudly when I was in high spirits. But in just a few months, I lost my voice, both literally and figuratively. Social workers reported, quote, "She does not talk and only moves her lips and speaks in a weak voice. She answers to her name, but moves her lips to the rest of the questions," end quote. I played less and less with the other children and kept to myself. The reality had sunk in. The social workers noticed my decline, and instead of returning me to live with my brothers or father, they recommended that I be placed in foster care. But that never happened because soon after I was sent to America for adoption. When I arrived in America, my voice still failed me for 6 months. No one spoke the language I knew. Then one day I spoke again in full English, but I remembered how I felt. When my adopted parents showed me my orphanage photos, I would say, "Sara, sad." Over time, I learned to speak in a new voice, to a new harmony, one uniquely shaped by American cultural norms and a family with blended origins. And as I assimilated, I also forgot everything about my original family. My adoptive father is with me today, and he raised 3 daughters. And we grew up doing all of the same chores and work that boys would do. So it felt natural for me to pursue an engineering and a law degree. My classmates considered me a bit of a maverick, but I used my voice in many ways in school, whether to yell across the gym as a cheerleader or to talk about science and math. Back then, my voice wavered between assertive and obedient. My assertive voice was often misinterpreted. My adoptive mother would say, "You'd be a great attorney because you're so argumentative." And as I delved more into my Korean culture, I actually learned that my assertive voice had been passed down from generations of oppression and protest. I had a natural gift for expressing my voice when I felt something needed to be different. When I began practicing law, gender bias was a stark reality, and my assertive voice instinctively responded, but making even the smallest cultural shift required an enormous amount of emotional energy, especially being at the bottom. My voice was small. Since then, I've worked to amplify my own voice and to teach leaders how to find theirs. I've collaborated with so many people in this room to build inclusive spaces and harmonies of inclusion. However, this past week, we've witnessed the loss of so many influential voices that once sang the songs of inclusion. Some voices have been silenced. Some might not have known the song well enough. And we wonder if some were just mouthing the words all along. It's been a sobering reminder of how quickly the work of decades or lifetimes can be stalled or even reversed. But I'm not that young child or young adult anymore. I will not lose my voice willingly. I stand here in that confidence, inviting everybody in this room to not just use your lips and mouth the words and whisper them, but to learn the words and to join the chorus. Thank you to Bank to Sundance Institute for shining a spotlight on something that women more naturally understand. Our voices are not just tools for personal success. They're instruments of collective impact. Thank you so much for listening.